All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Tuesday morning Inner Circle Live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. Hope you all had a phenomenal Monday and your Tuesday is off to a great start. So we're going to dive in and get straight to it. As always, let's turn off all distractions, prepare your minds and your bodies to engage as you guys always do. And for the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right. So let's we're going to take a look at some fundamentals real quick. We got a big week coming up. So we want to make sure that we are prepared. Okay. So real quick, drop me a one in the chat. A, if you can hear me okay, and B, if you can see my trading economic screen. Perfect. All right, cool. So got a few things popping up here, right? So we got UK job loss rate inches up 3.7%, right? Which is expected as things continue to slow down around the world. Big news coming up this week. We got CPI coming in today. So here, annual inflation rate in the U.S. likely slowed for the fifth straight month, 7.3% in November, slowest since December last year, compared to 7.7% in October. The annual core CPI, which strips out volatile food and energy, is expected to have risen by 6.1%, slightly below the 6.3% in October. Compared to October, the CPI has seen an increase of 0.3%, below the 0.4% in the previous 2 months, as prices likely fell for gasoline, used cars, medical care services, and apparel, and slowed down for hotels. Also, the core index is forecast to have risen by 0.3%, the same as in the previous month. Despite the slowdown, annual inflation rate is set to remain more than 3 times the Fed's 2% target, pointing to a broad price increase across the economy. Strongest upward pressure continues to be from the services sector, while prices of goods have seen to soften due to improvements in supply chain. All right. So that CPI data coming out, the core CPI, they're saying, has fallen by 0.2%. Still continues to increase overall. Right. So we're going to want to keep our eyes on that. If this data comes in hot, right, that will give more, lean more toward a hawkish Fed, right? So it's going to be a big number for us to watch, see how that comes out. Investors definitely have their eyes on that. Got iron ore, which is a commodity out of Australia, right? Iron ore rallies for the fourth to a 4-month high, right? Then you had oil climb on China demand hopes. WTI crude futures climbed to $74 a barrel on Tuesday after gaining more than 3% in the previous session, underpinned by improving demand outlook from top crude importer China, as the Keystone pipeline supplying Canadian oil in the United States remains shut. So this Keystone pipeline, there's a leak in Kansas, right? A pretty major leak in Kansas. They're trying to, this leak started last week. They've already recouped about 2,600 barrels of oil, but it's a major impact. It was a river in Kansas, and it's impacting people and the environment down in Kansas. So that's a major thing for the United States. So we'll keep our eyes on that. China's ambassador to the United States said the country will relax COVID rules further and will welcome more international travelers in the near future. On the supply side, the market remains clueless about when Canada's TC Energy Corporation will restart the Keystone pipeline after the major leak. forced its closure on December 7th. On top of that, President Vladimir Putin recently threatened to reduce production and cut supply in retaliation to Western price cap, right? Which that cap is $60. They're trying to get price down to that on Russian oil. A move from the EU, the G7, and Australia that so far has little impact on the global market. Okay, so Putin isn't the happiest camper right now. So we'll continue to watch the ebbs and flows of oil as this saga continues. All right. So that's oil, and then European shares a little change ahead of US CPI, right? All eyes are on the US CPI for today. Okay. Over to the calendar. Yesterday we had pound GDP month over month came in above expectation. Governor Macklem spoke yesterday for Canada. And this is what we're looking at here, right? We got Governor Bailey actually speaking right now out of the EU, but CPI at 8:30, right? Going to be key numbers for us to watch. Okay, then you got Governor Lowe out of Australia speaking this afternoon at 5:30. Tomorrow, another big day. You got CPI coming out of the UK. Then you got at 2:00 the FOMC statement and federal funds rate for the United States. Back-to-back big days, right? For the United States. You also have GDP for New Zealand, and you have employment and unemployment rate for Australia. Then on Thursday, right, third big day in a row, we got Swiss franc monetary policy. We got UK monetary policy, and then we got the ECB monetary policy, right? All back to back on Thursday. Okay. Then we got retail sales for the United States. And yeah, huge day there. Huge day there. And then on Friday, we got PMI data coming out of Europe and out of the UK and out of the United States. All right. So this is a heavy data week, right? So we want to ensure that we're prepared, but we also allow for the emotional reactions from each report to do what it's going to do before taking our entries. We don't trade the news, right? We see where it pushes us. And if it pushes us into our key zones that we like to trade, then we can look at pulling the trigger. All right. So any questions from a data and news perspective? No? Good. All right. Cool deal. So we'll take a look at the dollar, and then I want to do somewhat of an overview on some of the pairs that we're watching and some of the setups from this weekend to see what progress has been made. Okay, so that's where we will go today and get us a pretty broad view of the market and see where everything is. So over to the dollar. We'll come back to the NZD. Dollar index, right? And this is our look from a 4-hour perspective. I'll go back to the daily so we can see the overall look as well. But we pushed down to this daily support level, fresh AB boundary. Okay, this was last week. We got a little bit of a rise, and then we pulled back, and now we're kind of pressing sideways a little bit, right? Strong push to the upside. We got a retracement and a sideways push. And we'll see where the CPI takes us. If it starts to give us that push to the upside, that data comes in hot, or do we get another push down due to data being in line with expectation or even below? Okay, so bounce back to the daily time frame. Okay, and this is our broader view from a daily time frame perspective. Okay, we're sitting at an 8.6 retracement level in line with that daily support. Okay, so this is the larger look. ran the fibs off the low. Okay. And this is where we sit. So now we want to see, does this cluster here, this daily support and this weekly support hold? Do we stay inside that AB boundary, right? And do we get a push back to the upside? Okay. So that's what we're looking for on the dollar index. And those dollar crosses will be similar. Okay. Yeah, so that's where we sit on the dollar. That's what we're looking for. Okay. 1 second. All right, cool deal. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh man, doing great. Glad to be here as always. Big day today.
Big
See
day.
how things come out with the CPI. So that's
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
waiting on.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It's definitely a big day. Got a ton of things happening today and this week.
Oh yeah.
And this week.
Oh yeah. Crazy week.
Yeah. So it should be fun. Should be fun. Cool. So that's the dollar index. Let's take a look. We'll do a quick overview first. It's NZD dollar, right? NZD dollar on the 4-hour time frame. Benny reposted this in the Telegram chat, right? We got a shallow retracement here on the 4-hour time frame, and we're just hovering in this 118, 127 zone, right? Hovering in this 118, 127 zone. So today's data could give us a push, right? Could give us a push. So we'll continue to monitor. We'll continue to monitor. We got a break here and we got a pullback, right? So we'll see if we get price to continue pushing to the downside here. All right. We'll see. We'll see. That's on the 4-hour. If we bounce back to the daily to get a broader look, right? We're pushing deep into the zone, overextended, right? With another shallow retracement on the daily time frame, right? Just shy of this weekly resistance level. Okay, just shy of the weekly resistance level. Okay, so that makes this make more sense now, right? Could potentially push into that weekly resistance, right? We shall see if we get a test of that. Okay, as we drop down to the 1-hour time frame, this is the look here on the 1, right? You had your push down, you got a retracement, and now we're kind of trying to hover sideways, right? We broke back below that trend line, and now we're just riding that trend line to the upside. Okay, so we're waiting to see if we get this continuation and this push down. All right, so that's what we're waiting to see there on the NZD dollar. Okay, over to the NZD CAD. Okay, we've got, zoom out, go back to the daily. From a daily time frame perspective, running the fibs off the high, right? We're deep in the zone, right? We had a shallow retracement pushing to the 118, 127 zone, and then we took off to the upside, right? Just shy of this monthly resistance level, right? And inside that AB boundary, okay? And inside that AB boundary. So we want to see, do we get price to turn over and give us a retracement, right? We haven't had much. It's been a strong push to the upside, right? With oil taking a hit, right? And Bank of Canada coming in, somewhat dovish, kind of, sort of, right? Price has just been running to the upside. Those who drop down to the 4, when we look at this here, this fib to the downside got taken out, right? So we got fibs running to the upside, like so. So here on our 4, this is our look. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. We've already started to try to break down, right? So here on the 4, you run your trend lines to the upside, like so. Okay. And then we'll drop down to the 1 hour to see this inner trend line better, but your inner trend line would have come like that. Okay. So there you have it on the 4, right? That was the try to break, and then we push sideways there on the 4-hour time frame. Okay. But 80-20 scenario on the 4, right? Trying to turn over. Okay. So as we drop down to the 1, you zoom out and we run those fibs again off the low. That was a fresh AB boundary. The 80-20 scenario on the 4 was a fresh AB boundary, almost a double top type scenario here. And then we got to push down, break of the trend line, and then we started to push sideways. Okay. So we'll watch this one as well, right? We got the break on the here on the 1, right? Now we'll see if we get a pullback and then a continuation to the downside there. Okay. So this one, my preference would be to monitor off of the 4. Okay. If you want to drop your cloud on here on the 1 to see if you got your break, you haven't gotten a cloud break yet. This is that sideways push. You got your Kumo twist ahead, right? You got your TK crossover, right? Lagging span is broken through price, but price hasn't broken through the cloud yet, right? So we want to see price break through the cloud, and that give us an additional point of confirmation, right? So be patient on that one, and you can use that as your confirmation point once we get that breakout to the downside, like so, right? Then we can look for that entry there, okay? And then we can monitor that off of the 4-hour 80-20 scenario. That makes sense? Questions on this NZD CAD? Nope. Nope. All right, we'll do. So keep our eyes peeled on that one. If any of you were up early this morning, Vinny got us a post in on the 15-minute time frame off of this Euro Aussie, right? Euro Aussie made a strong push to the upside, right? Deep 8-6 retracement, and then turn over and press down, right? You got a beautiful trend line break. Beautiful trend line break right here. Bang. Right? Trend line break. Got a pullback, and then price took off to the downside, right? So 8-6 retracement, matching extension is here, 154477. All right. I don't know if anybody was up early this morning to take this trade, but we did get it posted in there. It's a beautiful one to the downside. All right. So Benny, appreciate you, bro, being up early in that London session.
For sure.
All right. So that's the Euro Aussie pushing to the downside. Joy says she couldn't open her eyes. She heard the ding though. All right. So beautiful move there. Still got some room to play out to the downside. It's on the go. All right. So if we bounce back and take a look at this overall, right, we've just been ranging, right? Top of the range, making our way down to the bottom of the range. Had a nice pullback, right? So we'll see if this move on the 15-minute time frame kind of gives us this continuation to the downside to get back to the bottom of this range that we've been playing in. Okay, we'll wait and see. We get to the 4, right? Zoom out a bit here, right? We had an original trend line break there on the 4. Price is making its way to the downside, right? Pullback, and now we're moving back down. Okay, so we'll see if we get that continuation to the downside there. Okay, pull that out there. And on your 1, this was the move. Shallow retracement 118, 127, in line with that weekly resistance. All right, top of the range, had tons of confirmation there, and price is making its way down. All right, and so this retracement is what brought us into this 15-minute move here. Okay, so that's where we sit on the Euro Aussie. Okay, Great setup there, great opportunity. That was off the break. Off the break, currently it's up 35 pips at its lowest, 58, right? If you caught off the pullback, 80 pips, right? Now, one trade makes a lot of people's week. So that's where we are there on the Euro Aussie. Cool. Now let's take a look at CAD Swiss. We talked about this CAD Swiss from a weekly time frame perspective, pushing down into this weekly support level, right? We wanted to see it get down to this weekly support and see if we got a retracement. It's been a strong move to the downside. Now we want to see if we get price to take back some of that move, right? So we come down here, beautiful move, and on the daily time frame, we had a D extension in line with that weekly support, right? And this is what we said we wanted to see. D extension hit, and we get a bounce, right? 618 retracement, matching D extension is the 1618 extension level. Okay. We're getting it. We're getting that bounce that we look for. So here on the 4, you had some confirmation, right? You also had a 4-hour D extension, right? In that same level, in line with that weekly support. So now we got a fresh AB boundary here on the 4, right? We got our swing low. And no, not quite. Right? We got a swing low to form, fresh AB boundary. Now we're trying to make our way to the upside. So we'll see if we're able to get back to this daily resistance level, right? Which is 115-ish pips away, right? Off the low, we're already up 60. Okay, so price is on the move to the upside on the 4-hour time frame. We drop down to the 1. I got the cloud on there. I'll take it off and I'll put it back on in a second. But here on the 1-hour time frame, right? We run our fibs off the high here. And we had price in the 118, 127 zone, right? 80-20 scenario. 80-20 scenario, right? So tons of confirmation here at this zone that we're looking for a reversal, right? So a couple of things you could have done. You could have run your trend lines to the downside. Like so. Okay. And then you could have run an aggressive one down, right? Getting to that lowest point. Bang. Right. Like so. Okay. You got your trend line break there. We're kind of, well, not really a break, but we're pushing sideways, right? So you'd have been waiting a little bit unless you were extremely aggressive and ran another one there. Okay. It's one way to look at it, or you could have dropped down to lower time frame, which we'll do in a second as well. Okay. The other option, right, is putting your cloud on, right? Wait for your confirmation. And we're just now trying to break through the cloud here. We got a Kumo twist, we got a TK crossover, right? Lagging span is broken through price, right? So we could be looking for an opportunity, additional confirmation piece here. If you're not in this, could be an entry opportunity for us if we get a push to the upside, which would also coincidentally be, right, a break of this outer trend line, right? So be patient here, get your nice bullish candle, boom, and that's your opportunity into this to the upside. Okay. So that's on the 1-hour time frame. 80-20 scenario came into our zone like we wanted it, and we got the reversal. Okay. Now as we drop down to our lower time frames, right? Let's pull this off. Zoom out a little bit so we can see what's happening. Clean these up a bit. So this trend line here, our inner trend line, right, would have come here, like so. We had fibs running to the downside, boom. Fibs running to the downside, and you had an 80-20 scenario here on this last fib that gave us the reversal, right? So let's pick this apart a little bit, right? We had fibs running to the downside. We had our trend lines coming to the downside as well, like so, right? Looking for right there, right? and then trend line coming here. All right, getting as close to the lowest point as possible without cutting off any wicks. And off of this high, we ran the fibs to the downside. So if you would have came down to your 5-minute time frame looking for an entry on this, right? You had fresh AB boundary, shallow retracement, price push just shy of that 118 level. Okay. And you had a trend line break. Bang. Right. 80-20 scenario in line with that weekly support, right? Which we knew we were watching, right? Strong bullish candle, pull back, retest that level, and then price took off to the upside. All right. So now we're on the move to the upside off of that low. So that could have been an entry opportunity for you, right? If you're looking at that yesterday or yesterday morning, right? Move to the upside. Okay. So now waiting for price to continue to the upside. If you're looking for smaller intraday plays, right? We're almost at a D extension. Once we get there, you might have an opportunity on a retracement to come back and retest some of these highs. Okay. But we're on the move as expected. Okay. On the move as expected. Questions on the CAD Swiss? If you're not in this already, right? Additional confirmation points, break of the trend line here, or a bullish candle break and close above the cloud, right? We're just hovering sideways right now. Cool. Take that as confirmation. All right. Then let's look at, what was the other one? We had at Aussie New Zealand. This one was gave us a nice move initially last week, but it gave us a pullback as well. Okay, gave us a pullback as well. So on our daily time frame, shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone. We're pressing sideways, right? We tested this daily support level, and we're hovering at this weekly level. Okay, come down to the 4. We're sitting in this 118 and 127 zone. Okay. Last week, we got this beautiful push to the upside. And then Thursday and Friday, we got this retracement, right? Retracement came back, retested the weekly levels, and now price is trying to turn back over. We'll see if we get price to break back above these weekly levels, right? And continue rising to give us that nice retracement on the 4-hour time frame. Okay. We'll come down to the 1, and this is what that looks like, right? So what I did was I moved the trend line, ran the trend line to this outermost point. We got this pullback back into the zone, right? Nice pullback. I want to take into account this, right? And so now we're looking for price to move to the upside, right? This is that range that we're playing in. Top of the range, bottom of the range. See if we get back to the top and able to break out to the upside. Okay. This is the range here. But we're hovering at the trend line, retesting, and we'll see if we get a push, right? So if price does turn over here and respects this 105,747, right? Potential entry opportunity for us to take that to the upside. Okay. Questions on this Aussie New Zealand? Longer term opportunity here. All right, here on the also on the 1, you got your shallow retracement 118 and 127 zone that we're also playing in. All right, so play it off the 1 hour to the 382, or you can play it off the 4 hour to the 382. Okay, cool deal. Take a look at a couple others that I got my eyes on. Swiss yen. Now on the Swiss yen, right, we had this nice strong bearish breakout to the downside here, and then we got this pullback, right? And we got this pullback just from a weekly time frame perspective. Okay, so down on your daily, that breakdown was here, right? And now we got this pullback coming back, retesting our trend line, right? Retesting the backside of that trend line, which is something that I was looking for and still being patient with, right? On your 4, you see we came down and we're pulling back, kind of choppy there. But as you get down to your 1, right, and you run your fibs off of the high to the downside, right? This is what we're waiting on, price to get into the 618 retracement zone. Okay. Came just shy of it with this pullback here, and price is trying to turn over on us, right? Price is trying to turn over. So that this one might be preparing to make its way down, right? So we got a swing high, and we got a trend line break, right? And we got a trend line break. So this is one, right? If this is the move, right? Quite a ways to go to the downside to get to the matching D extension. Okay, 800 pips to the downside there. Okay, got place it above the high. That's 3, so 2 to 1, almost a 3 to 1 to the downside. So that's an opportunity there. Keep your eyes on it, right? If you meet your rules, pull the trigger. All right, we haven't broken the cloud yet, right? Still hovering sideways. So we'll see if we bounce around a little bit in this area, right? And see if we get a cloud break on that. Okay, so that's another one that we want to keep our eyes on and see what happens. We drop down here to the 5. And this is another play. Shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone, and you see that turnover, right? So we got some confirmation here that we could be starting to make this move to the downside. Okay, didn't quite get up into that 618 retracement level, just shy, right? But we're turning over there. Okay. Questions on the Swiss yen? Another beautiful opportunity for us. No? Okay. All right. So that's it there on the Swiss yen. We looked at the Euro Aussie, the Euro CAD. What is it doing? So a few things here. Monthly time frame pushed into a 618 retracement level. Beautiful move off the 80-20, right? 618 retracement. On our weekly, just shy of that 618 retracement level. Shallow retracement, beautiful move off the 80-20, bang, right? Now we want to see, do we get price to turn over? We're overextended here on the daily time frame. Indecision yesterday, right? And we're trying to push down today. Okay, so we get down here to the 4. We got to adjust that original trend line, get to the highest point. Bang, pushed into that 118, 127 off of a shallow retracement. And we're starting to make our way to the downside. Okay, 80-20 scenario there. Screenshot that, get that posted in the Telegram. Okay, drop down to the 1. Fresh AB boundary here on the 1, right? We got a trend line break, and price is starting to push through the cloud, right? So if we get this candle to close below, we got a Kumo twist, we got a TK crossover, and price, the lagging span is trying to break through price there, right? So we could get our confirmation on the close of the candle, right? Entry opportunity to the downside. Okay. And then you can track that off of your 4-hour fib off the 80-20, right? Back down to that 382. Okay. You guys follow me on this? Anybody in this already to the downside? Maybe?
Not in it, but I'll follow you.
Cool. Cool. All right. Tons of opportunities coming out of the weekend, man. Tons of opportunities coming out of the weekend, right? Pick the best one for you that meets all your criteria, and then let it do what it does. Okay. Euro NZD. A couple opportunities on this one, right? On the daily time frame, right? We pushed down to 50% retracement daily support level, right? I ran a sub fib down just to track the move. We got a 382. Matching the extension is just below this daily support level. Okay. 63544. So as we move down through the time frames to our 4 hour, right? Fibs running to the downside, push up, right? Retest that daily level that we broke through, 50% retracement, and we're making our way down. Okay. When we get down to the 1, we got our fibs running to the downside here. We had a shallow retracement, price came back down, gave us a double bottom scenario at this daily support, and we got a push, right? So on your 1 hour, potentially, if we're able to break this trend line, right, we could push back up to, right, this 382, potentially 50% retracement level. We'll see, right? But we need a break of the trend line first. Okay. We got news coming later this week that could be potentially be the catalyst for either price to break to the upside or price to break down, right? So we'll watch to see how that moves. So that's a potential opportunity for us, a break out of the consolidation if we get that retracement off the double bottom scenario to the upside, right? Conversely, right, on your lower time frames, right, you drop down and you had, take this out, close that out, right? You had this here, Benny posted this in the Telegram as well, right? Beautiful push to the upside, 618 retracement, and price started to break down, right? Price started to break down. So you got price moving here to the downside, right? And you can look at it from the other perspective as well, running your fibs to the upside, right? Take that off, and you got an 80-20 scenario, right? In that 618 retracement zone. So 80-20 scenario, breakdown, prices got to that 618 retracement level. So you got both your TPs on this move to the downside here, if you're playing this 80-20 down. Okay. So that was a beautiful setup there early in the week. Where we at? Actually, that's on the 5. His Benny's post is on the 15. Let's go back to the 15. And we're running those fibs to the downside. So that was a 5-minute opportunity. Benny posted the 15-minute opportunity, which is very similar. Let's see. Map them all the way out. There we go. Right. Very similar. Right. This was just touched that 786 retracement level. Okay. On that, the matching D extension is here at 63516. If we get that push all the way down to the downside, right? But still, right, deep retracement here, and you had 80-20 scenario here, right? So similar to that 5, same move, boom, right? So that was a beautiful play down. All right, beautiful move to the downside there. So now we see, right, now we wait to see what price does, okay? Are we going to come back and retest that level, this daily support level, or will we turn over and start making our way back to the upside off that 1 hour fib? All right. So that's the question. We'll watch, wait, and see what happens there. But either way, you got opportunity here, right? Make some money there. And then if it turns over, have an opportunity to play it back to the upside. Okay. Questions on the Euro NZD? No. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's take a look at this pound CAD. Pound CAD is another one that I got my eyes on. overextended on the daily, right? We're stalling a little bit at this daily resistance level at 67182. Okay. I want to see what happens here. So we drop down to the 4. We know we got an 80-20 scenario. Price tried to break above this level, get to the D extension, hasn't quite gotten there yet. We'll see if we get another push, right? See if we get another push to the upside to get there, give us a fresh AB boundary, but we got our trend lines running. Okay. We want to see if we get a break. We want to see if we get a break. Okay. And then, okay. So that's our 4-hour look. And on the day, on the 1, this is the look here. All right. Similar to that 4. Similar to that 4. Okay. So this is what we're looking for here. We'll see how this one plays out. See what happens. See what happens if we break down, or do we continue pushing to the upside, get to that weekly resistance level. Okay. But stalling there, been stalling there for a minute. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that one. Take a quick look at some of these dollar crosses, right? GU, long term, right? It's their daily fib here, coming down, 50% retracement, ran a sub fib to the upside, right? Fresh AB boundary at that weekly level. Okay. Drop down to the 4, pushing into that 118, 127 zone. Okay. Key level, 118, 127 zone. We'll see if we get a reaction and a breakdown to the downside, right? Need that nice trend line break on the 4. Okay. Need a nice trend line break on the 4. Come down to the 1. Similar deal. Similar deal. Okay. So we'll watch this one to see. After the data comes out, we'll see how the market responds to it. Okay. See how the market responds to it. That's GU questions here. These dollar crosses are going to be wait and sees. Wait and sees. Okay. Aussie dollar. Daily time frame, right? We're hovering in the 618 retracement zone, right? At the daily resistance level. We had a breakdown, we got a pullback, now we're pushing sideways. Okay. On the 4, just got to that 382, not able to break above this daily level, broke down, came back, retesting the backside of the trend line. Okay. We'll see if we get a continuation down. And on the 1, you're just pushing sideways. Okay, so not much to see there on the 1. Not much to see on the 1. Okay. So this one will track off the 4-hour time frame to see if we get a continuation to the downside there, right? After the news occurs. Benny, you got any other pairs that you're monitoring to see how they respond?
No, sir. This thing has the ability to affect all the pairs across the board. So I'm kind of just falling back a little bit.
Yep.
See, because this the way they're thinking is that based on how this come out, it might affect the decision that the Fed is going to make.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of think their decision is already made up. I might be wrong on that and what they want to do. I think regardless of how the print comes through, it's going to be 50 basis points. I'm thinking because of all the speculation, 75 at this point would be a big shock to the market unless he did that and then said, well, going forward, his forward guidance completely changes.
Right.
So I'm just going to kind of sit back and let everything unfold.
Yes, sir.
With this data report and get ready to listen to some entertaining stuff on Bloomberg.
That's facts. That's
afterwards, because it'll be fireworks and all types of back and forth, which I get a kick out of. So, because the Fed's gonna do what they need to do anyway. What they feel they need to do anyway.
What they feel they need to do.
They're not gonna listen to any of the rhetoric. So.
Yep. I'm with you.
Let's see.
I'm with you. Sweet. Expeditiously. Yeah. Watch those words. Watch those words. Paul is good with his word choice. You guys got any question on anything that we covered today, or anything regarding the news that we're preparing for?
Yeah, I've just got a quick one.
Yeah.
So, in regards to the news so it was actually in regards to the first thing you checked in this lesson, is the trading economics. And I was just wondering, like, do you read over it often, like every single day? And like, what's your starting point into reading into your fundamentals?
Yeah, I review trading economics every day to see what some of the articles are. Starting point is anything that's happening with the dollar.
Okay.
Right? Anything that's happening with the dollar. And then are there any other reports coming up, be it GDP, CPI, PMI, any inflationary data? And for the commodity currencies, is there anything happening on that side? Like we have the iron ore scenario, right? Pushing to 4-month highs for which is tightly tied to the Australian dollar, right? Or oil, right? Oil is tightly tied to the Canadian dollar, right? So you got some correlation there. So I look for those things as well. And then I look at the calendar to see what news is coming up from that perspective, see what the expectations are. And if there's anything I need that we want to just watch and see, because we don't trade the actual news events, we allow the news to come out and then see where it pushes the market to then see if it pushed into a zone that we like to trade, right? So being aware of that to know if I'm already in a trade, right? How I need to manage that trade, move the stop into profit, right? To protect some of the profit there. Or if, like Benny said, we just need to sit back, watch, and see how things play out, and then make decisions afterward. So that's kind of my overall process.
Gotcha. Right, yeah. Because you see, when I start looking at the fundamentals, I usually, because I'm from the UK, I look at the GBP first. But like you said, everything runs from the dollar, which is the fundamental like currency at this moment in time. So yeah, I'll take that into consideration.
Absolutely. And you looking at the pound first, right? Because the London session opened early, right? So you'll get some of that movement. Well, for us it's early. For you it's 8, 9 a.m. So but that kind of makes sense. You'll see some of those early movements based off of some of the news coming out during that time for you, right? And then seeing what could be happening later on in the day for you with the dollar as we move into the New York session. So it makes sense.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Appreciate it, Tyrone. Any other questions? No?
You also want to make sure you check your bond yields for your particular currency too. That's always important to take a look at those to see, because a lot of times you'll see moves in the bond yields in a particular direction prior to you seeing the currency move.
Yeah.
So make sure I always take a peek at that on a daily basis to see what the bond yields are looking like. So you're looking at the UK, like particularly I'll look at the UK, the gilt. And then like the for the Eurozone, I typically just take a look at the German government bonds. What is that?
The German bond?
Bund. Yeah, the bund, Bund, and the US 10 years. Take a quick peek at those to see where they are, right? Because we know we've come down here in the United States from way up, over 4%. To now they've moved to the downside, and you see the currency, right, selling off too. So, but we've covered that lesson before. So bond yields are important as well when it comes to currency movement.
Appreciate that, bro. Great point. No other questions? Cool deal. Benny, anything else before we close it out, bro?
No, just also too, like you hear me all the time talking about how I listen to Bloomberg Radio. So like I have a XM radio subscription. I think it's like $14.50, $15 a month or something like that. but I'm always listening because a lot of times they're going to have like your major bank CEOs and, you know, CEOs of major corporations and your top economists, things like that, kind of giving their feedback, hedge fund CEOs on where they think the market is going to go, you know, getting their opinion on different situations that are occurring on a regular basis. So Bloomberg Radio is really good at any of those business channels. I know some people have live squawks that they listen to and things like that, but I primarily just listen to that because they're around the clock, Asian session, pre-market open, you know, they're going, that's their thing. So that's something else to take a look at if you're interested. But other than that, man, hey, look forward to seeing what happens with the news today with the CPI data. There's a ton of other stuff going on this week. Be a very, very volatile week. So always be careful. Risk management is key. When in doubt, stay out. All right. Sitting on your hands is the positions, and patience pays. And other than that, I look forward to seeing everybody tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Great job today, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. Joey asked, what channel is that again on XM Radio?
Bloomberg. Give me 1 second. Let me see what let me find my XM here. It is, I got it saved in my favorites. Let me see. Bloomberg is 119, channel 119.
119.
Channel 119. Fox Business, channel 113. You know, but mainly Bloomberg, that channel 119 is what I tune into.
Thank you. I forgot about that. Mine stopped at
You're welcome.
At the rap station. So
every once in a while, tune into that business side.
Cool deal, good people. Where can you read about the bond yields? We did a lesson on it. I have to go back and find that lesson and repost it for you, Jerry.
Yeah, and then every day, like if you're looking at like Trading View, things like that, you can pull it up. You can Google it too. You know, in regards to what the current rates are. You can go to Trading Economics too and click on the bonds tab and click on it as well. And look at it. So there's a number of different things. Usually they'll keep an update on it and put some type of little article or paragraph regarding the bonds. So if you just click on the bonds tab on Trading Economics, it'll give you a good little start.
And you can pull up the charts on Trading View. Cool deal. All right, good people. We'll be back at it tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Asian session. You guys have an awesome, awesome, awesome day. We'll see you tonight. Peace.